Yo, 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 what's up? This is John from Judge Innovation, goes in the beach capital of the state. And right now it's hot. It's hot, boy. In this mixing room, it's insulated, but I tell you what, it's humid, big time. It's about 80 degrees in here. And in the booth, it's about 95 degrees in the booth. So, let's talk about bed liner, okay? I've had some folks ask me about bed liner, what kind of bed liner you use, about this, about that, whatever. So try to keep this short and sweet. Try not to ramble on too much. So if you're hand sanding beds to bed line them with 80 grit or whatever, my hat's off to you. I did it. I don't do it no more. When we was at Petty's, did a bunch of Ford F-150s, brand new from the dealership. Petty's had a deal with her where they got bed liner, and we bed lined the sides, and we bed lined the daggone the fender flares and all that stuff. And I think Andrew made some cool stands to hold the fender flares up, and you go in there and you bed line them, you tape them up. It's pretty neat, it's pretty cool. I think he made them, or somebody made them, I don't know. For some reason I think Andrew made them. So here's the thing, we used a wheel that goes on a grinder that looks like the bristle brush, like when you do department stores and clean the floors and strip and wax them. Well, we done that, and we did everything by hand. And on the side of the truck, we did red Scotch-Brite, and we scotched everything, and then we did the quarter thing all the way down, and then we went around the plastic. But we put AP on everything. AP on everything. It's just extra coverage just to put adhesive promoter on there. Because you got two things going on. Once you sand something and something grabs, that's a mechanical bite. If you put an adhesive promoter on there, I know some people say, well, how come you're using an adhesive promoter that's a 1K and you're putting a 2K on it? How in the world can that bite? I don't know, I'm not a chemist. But if you put the AP on there, so now you have a mechanical bite and a chemical bite, because the mechanical bite is the scratches. That gives something to tooth into. The AP is a chemical, so you take the chemical and the chemical, so you got three things that's got it covered, so you should be good and nothing coming off. Well, here at my shop, I don't hand sand any beds because you got to get up in all them nooks and crannies and stuff like that, and I'm not doing it. So it's cheaper, faster, and more economical just to get Carolina Dustless Blaster down here. Let them blast it out. Once they get done, then I blow it out real good, and then I go straight to epoxy. So epoxy I use is CRE 321 gray. So I mix that up 2 to 1 to 1. I spray it with a 1/8 tip. I put a nice wet bed coat. It's fixing to rain. Then I let that dry to touch. Once it's dry to touch, then it's ready to go. And I mean dry to touch. And people, one guy asked me, says, well, hey man, ain't you supposed to go sand that because you're supposed to sand it for that blasting? Or you got to sand it before you put that bed liner on. Well, if you go back to what I just said, the tooth is bit from the blasting. So the CRE bites into the blasting. So that's the mechanical bond. Then you got the chemical bond because the bed liner is wet, and then the CRE is green, meaning it's still pliable for 7 days, according to the P sheet. That's your chemical bond. So you got a mechanical bond and a chemical bond. It's not going nowhere. It ain't going nowhere. So that answers that question. Somebody says, well, ain't you supposed to sand it? Now, if I let it go past the window, which it says 5 days, so if I epoxy it and I don't do anything for 6 days, am I going to spray bed liner on it? Probably not. But the CRE P sheet says that I can recoat it with itself within 7 days, and after 7 days, then I can apply it over it. So that means if I was doing something and I got at the 5-day mark, I could recoat CRE without sanding it, without nothing. I could spray a light coat on it to reactivate it, wait until it's dry to touch, then put my bed liner on it. So the bed liner that I use is Quartz. Now I've used a bunch of Raptor and I've used a bunch of everything. But the Quartz, I use Quartz. The reason why I use Quartz is because it's 5 liters and a gun every time. Raptor is 4 liters and you gotta buy a gun. You don't get the gun no more. So it's 5 liters with the Quartz with a gun. All right, so the way this mixes is 8 ounces of hardener to every liter. So what I do is, before I do anything, the black. They have black and they have Tintable. We're going to talk about both of them. So the black, I put on the shaker right out of the box, and I shake it for about 3 minutes. And the reason why I do that is to get everything mixed up. From setting, separation, whatever. I shake it for 3 to 5 minutes. All right. Next thing I do is, it says it's 8 ounces of hardener. Well, it comes with a cup, and on this cup it's 1, 2, 3. So if you go 3, 3, and 2, that's 8, right? 6, 7, 8. So that's 8. So you're supposed to take and pour this to the 8, pour this to 3, dump it. Pour this to 3, dump it. Pour this to 2, dump it. I don't do that no more. So I have some scales in here from Harbor Freight, and I put this on the scale and I weigh it, and then I tear it out. T-A-R-E, tear, not tear. T-A-R, T-A-R-E, tear. I tear this, zero this out, set this to the side. If you tear it with the lid, make sure you put the lid back on it when you do everything. So I tear this out. I take a PPG cup, I put it on there, I tear it out. I take and I pour 8 ounces of hardener until it says 8 ounces on the daggone scale. Well, why, Jay? Why don't you just follow the line on there? Well, here's the problem. These things are computer printed, mass production. It's computer. Everything makes mistakes, right? So this one might be dead 8 ounces. The next one might not be dead 8 ounces. So if you weigh it out every time, you know you're right. Same thing with your body filter. Not going to get into that. So I weigh this out, 8 ounces. I put it on there. I know what it is on the scale. I write it down. I got it. So I put it on there, make sure it's 8 ounces. I dump it. Once I dump it, put the lid on there, put it in the shaker, turn my timer on. I shake it for 2 to 3 minutes. While this is shaking, I make sure the gun's clean. Now this is an old gun. I keep them off for parts. So if you're using a gun over, make sure that hole at the top is open and clear, because it can't blow out unless it can't suck. All right. High flow fittings. If you boys ain't using high flow fittings, you got it yourself. Here's a high flow, here's a regular flow. See the difference? You can use high flow hoses. Let me show you this right here. You can buy these. You can buy these hoses right here. They're 50 foot. They already come with the high flow end and the high flow connector. These hoses are about $52 from Primos. All right. So once you got this shook up, your epoxy's dry to touch, you go in there, you start spraying. All right, now depending on how you want to spray, if you want it rough as a cob, then turn your pressure down to, like, say, 30 to 40 psi and stay about 10 inches from the panel and get the consistency that you want. Good, nice, wet, medium coat. All right? If you want a light texture, then bump your air pressure up. I have sprayed this stuff at 80 to 90 psi, 18 inches off the panel to give it a light texture. It says you can also add some kind of aggressive adhesive. I mean, not adhesive, but compound like sand or something like that into it. I've never done that before. I don't know why you would do that unless you just wanted like some severe grit, and you go from there. So spray that straight on there. Well, you got your epoxy that's biting to your mechanical bite, which is the tooth from the blaster. Then you got this bed liner that's chemically bonding to your epoxy. This stuff is not going nowhere if you do it right. All right? Do the whole bed, you get done or whatever you're doing. It takes 7 days for it to dry. It takes another 7 to 10 to 12 to 14 days, depending on the temperature and the humidity, for it to cure. There is a difference between drying and curing. Something's dry, it's dry to handle. Cure means if I take and scratch it, it doesn't do anything. So don't say, hey man, your bed's done, take off. And then next thing you know, they go to Lowe's and they throw a load of lumber in there and they peel it up like a banana. And they say, man, you said it was dry. Well, it is dry, but it ain't cured. There's a difference. So the humidity and everything, the moisture in there, isocyanates absorb moisture. So that's moisture in there. So the moisture's got to evaporate. Everything's got to dry. So it takes super long time for it to finally cure up. All right, now the Tintable. You can get this in Tintable. All right. So the Tintable inside looks like creamy white. So it says it calls for 3 ounces of color. And that's exactly what it is, color. So I learned the hard way. I mixed up some color and it didn't look right, and I sprayed it, and it done some crazy stuff, and come to find out, I emailed the company, and the company says, the guy that emailed me back says, we recommend don't using binder. So just get straight toner with no binder. So if you're going to call and get, let's say, 636R switchback silver, tell them to mix you 32 ounces with no binder. They can mix it at the store. If you got any store that's got any sense, they can mix it. So it says it takes 3 ounces. So if you got 5 liters in a kit and it's 3 ounces, that's 15 ounces of paint, Jake. But why in the world did you get 32 ounces? Well, here's why. I got 32 ounces because I found out that since this is white inside and you put 3 ounces of color and you go shake it for 5 minutes before you put the hardener in there, it doesn't look right. The color's not right. It's a little off because you've added silver to white, or red to white, or orange to white, or green to white, or blue to white. And if anybody knows anything about the color wheel, white is going to make it is going to dilute it down. I have found out that 6 ounces not reduced is the magic number. So you put 32 ounces of color, not reduced, with no binder, and you weigh it out on the scale, 6 ounces, you put 6 ounces of color into your Tintable. So first thing you do, remember, shake it right out of the box. Shake this right out of the box. Then you get it out, you get it ready, you put 6 ounces of color in it, you shake it again. Now you can do this. If you're gonna do all your colors, shake all 5 liters, put 6 ounces of color, just color, in all 5 liters, shake every one of them, then come back. Now you gotta add the hardener. Remember what I said about the hardener. Put this on the scale, tear it out, pour your hardener to the 6 ounces until it weighs 6 ounces, put 6 ounces in there, put it on the shaker and shake it for 3 minutes, and then get in the booth and get busy. Do not put hardener in every single one of them, because I guarantee you before you get to the 3rd one, that stuff's gonna be hard as a rock. So, recap. Black, straight to it, Tintable, 6 ounces. Now, you might get away with 3 ounces and you be fine and everything's hunky-dory and you love the way it looks. I'm telling you what works for me, and this is what works for me. So, Quartz kit was about $135, but everything has gone through the roof. So, I don't know how much it is, but that's what I use. It was about $135 a kit. I bought 2 kits for that C10 in there, and I think that was almost $200 for the kits. So I got $400 and some change just in 2 bedliner kits. So stuff's going up. You just got to deal with it. I mean, it is what it is. Everything goes in cycles. So I've not used this Proform, this buckshot. I don't know. I'm not going to use it on no clients. I'll probably use it on something mine. So today, we was talking about Quartz, protective bed liner, and we was talking about the black kit. So, I appreciate everybody. Give me a like, give me a share, give me a follow. Put God first. Let the loose end drag, and don't worry about what the man up the road's doing. Don't worry about what the man down the road's doing. Worry about what you doing. Clean your own porch off, and don't worry about it. Everybody, take care. Appreciate every single one of you. Y'all have a blessed day. Peace, love, and chicken grease. I'm out. Well, I said I was out. Push the button, stupid.